So here we are in my atelier in its present state. Have a look at that. Still sorting out pieces of tiles and getting ready to do some printing of pictures in a dark room. Here's the light room, I guess. How do I make it a little darker? Can I make it darker? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay. So, it's difficult finding a place to sit. Welcome to my first studio talk, let's call it that. I don't need the glasses at the moment. You can see me with my new haircut. And there's a good light coming from me here. And I'm probably backlit at the moment. Maybe I can bring my face a little closer. Yes, as I said, I'm about to go into the dark room for the first time in several years. At least every once in a while, maybe once a year, I've gone into the dark room and printed a picture. Now I've got to print a bunch of pictures for our trip to Foglio in the Tessin next week. And I thought I would propose an exhibition of black and white pictures that I'd taken in the early 90s when I was in Balkaneja several times, and took my camera with me, which I didn't always do. And so I took a lot of black and white pictures. Some are really, really good. One of my best pictures is among them. And the one of the woman photographing, and you see her like it's under a rock, actually looks like a cave, and she's silhouetted. It's really that's one of the big ones from Valkalneja. And so yes, I picked out from about 7 sheets of negatives, I don't know, about a dozen pictures to print, and if I get around to it, I'd like to try to give them a special treatment, like painting with the developer. But first I have to just get pictures so that the people in the restaurant at Foglio, where I would like to show the pictures or possibly even sell some, they want to see the pictures before. And the only one I sent them, the one of Arnoldo. I think his name was Dado. No, not Dado. He was the last shepherd active in the Valkalneja, so I photographed him in '92. So he's my star. And it's funny that the second star would be a photographer in the form of Laura Mahoney. Now she's married to Stefan. What's his name in Zurich? Alex Stefanovic, I think. They live in New York. She was a photographer at the time. Now she's probably a mother and maybe still photographing, I don't know. And so they're the two stars, Arnoldo, the shepherd, and Laura, the photographer, which is what I am too, whatever that means. You know, I'm working with photography, working with camera, working with black and white, the discipline of developing the films, dealing with the chemicals, directly working with paper, and not having, I can't imagine letting somebody else print my pictures. Making decisions all the time, making mistakes, getting it right every once in a while. and especially since I learned this technique where you develop in just one tray, instead of having a whole bunch of trays and you go from one to the next, you just pour the chemicals in and you pour them right back out, and this allows you to do a water bath and do a good rinse before you put the next chemical in. And it's very exciting to work with this kind of simplicity, and I could probably make it even simpler, but yeah, so an artist, whatever that is, working with photography. And what does it mean to work as an artist with photography? For example, for me it means that for a long time I just never cropped any pictures, and I just printed always, what I saw, that was my discipline. And I had a camera that gave me enough of an Nikon F. The field in the viewfinder on the screen was like 97% of the actual field of what the lens takes, and this is a lot among viewfinders, so that I had the discipline of just framing, and framing really fast sometimes. The slow ones, when I took still lifes and stuff like this, and just and looking half an hour pictures, which I usually never printed afterwards, but I guess the work was in the seeing of it. I guess it's part of it. I don't know if the camera is still running. Yes, it is. So this is a very off the cuff. I'd like to film this. I just like to come to my voice, not just to my vocation, but just to come to my voice. And this camera has, strangely enough, a good microphone. And I think it's important for me also in my apartment where I live and work, and now I'm trying to put it more in the direction of art as life, and not just art as a hobby or wannabe or something, but really living with art and doing art just because this is what I am good at. And well, at least that's what I've noticed in the course of the years. I'm good at that. So, okay. And the financial details, I'll make an extra film for that one. Anyway, I like talking in my tone of voice, with my voice, my volume, in an apartment where the noise made by others was such a, or the noise still made by others, is a very present part of my everyday life. And since I live and work here, that's a long time. And when I was with the older neighbor, I think he was fairly quiet and I was quiet as a result, because he would complain if anything was too loud. So I think that brought me into a discipline of just being quiet and basically, you know, not hearing a whole lot. And then now come the neighbors with their 2 kids and dog and endless yeah, and endless flow of guests. That's Winnie. She has a very strong voice. Yeah, Winnie, I think she would like to come in, I'm sure of it. I have to take the curtain away. This is a t-shirt. Oops. T-shirt with a printing on it. Wittgenstein's or paraphrase of Wittgen, of the last proposition in his Tractatus Philosophico blah blah blah, and it says in German, or das wovon man nicht sprechen kann, darüber soll man schreiben. In the original, instead of schreiben, to write, it was schweigen. hold your tongue. So I changed it so that of which one cannot speak, one should write about. And instead of schweigen, I mean, if you can't, in German it's like I talk, I speak, and sprechen, und das, what you can't talk about is maybe because it's so secret or it's so horrible or else it's so mysterious that you can't define it in words easily. So the mysteries we're supposed to silence, and I thought, well, let's be realistic, write about them and